Okay, let's try this again. I think I've got things sorted out so that I can actually check to see whether or not I'm live streaming. Would be a good thing to check first, wouldn't it? Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, right, yeah. So I'm specifically going to be doing just the one track tonight, I think. But I may as well get the game theory one out of the way. It's my oldest piece, and it's the one that I've done the least with since I first put it out. So we should, in theory, be getting some audio through from Cubase now. If I were to select the correct program, that would be helpful, would it not? That sounds like we're getting, or it looks like we're getting audio through from Cubase. So fingers crossed, you guys can hear it. It's coming through on OBS, so I'm going to assume so. Right. So, yeah. What I was trying to demonstrate before, before everything went tits up, I'm going to do that. And what I wanted to do... Oh, actually... Ah! Oh, this is not going to plan. I don't know what I'm deleting anymore. I want to get rid of that. Thank you. I want to just set the... Ugh. Always gets me whenever it does that. Whenever I do that. I just want to fade in these symbols. Down here. Just like that. Yeah, good. And yeah, we'll fade those toms in as well. Don't think there's anything else that needs to... What are you? Oh, why are you like that? That seems like a bit of a weird choice. But okay. We'll inspect that once I actually get the VST running through. But that should... Oh, wait, no, we got this bit at the end. That I forgot about. There we go. Okay. So that should be everything kind of tidied up a little bit. Okay. Now I'll duplicate that so we've got a reference to work from. And we'll load up the Addictive Drums VST plugin, which is what I wanted to do last time. So this is what I run my drums through. This is a virtual... I think it's Virtual Sound Technology. I think that's what VST stands for. But it basically uses real drum samples, samples from, you know, real recorded drums, a very wide selection of them as well, like full kits have been recorded. No, I don't want that. I want the Star Classic. That's what I've been using. So I've got a kick, I've got a hi-hat, I've got 3 different cymbals, or 4 different cymbals, I should say. Two crash cymbals, a... Is it a splash or a china? And then there's a ride cymbal as well. I think you're a crash cymbal, you're a crash cymbal, you're a crash cymbal. Oh, this is the startup one. This isn't my setup. There we go. There's mine. Yeah, 2 crash, 1 china, and a ride cymbal. And then 4 toms and a snare. All mixed down here. And then this is where all the MIDI input comes in, because I write by number. Evening, Josh. Nice to see you. This is round 2 of trying to attempting this. The first stream has been wiped from the face of the earth because it was a complete failure. But this is the MIDI map, so I basically write by numbers. So 36 here that I write into Guitar Pro on the track is the kind of MIDI channel. or anything that's written with that 36, which is C1 on a keyboard, will register as a kick. But this map layout is different to how I have mine set up. So this, in fact, this little section right here, that's all I work with. That's 4 toms, 4 cymbals, the hi-hat, and the snare and the kick. So I'll load that in. And just to give you a point of reference of how all of this compares in sound, this track is just the Cubase MIDI. So that's how this sounds. Oh, I'm loving Bioshock Infinite. I've already got the 2nd episode recorded, and it's just so good. I'm loving it. But yeah, this is how the drums sound when they get first loaded into Cubase. Not particularly impressive, you know. I run them through the addictive drums, and we get this. So much more wallop. But we do need to bring that down because it's a little bit loud. It's clipping a bit too high. But that's sounding much better. I want to see what's going on with this bit here. Is that how I actually wrote the guitar tab? Or how I wrote the drums in the tab for that? What bar am I looking at? Bar 84. Let's have a quick look-see. Bar 84, 84. Oh, I see what's gone on with that. I see the problem. Half of these, because I think I must have written this before working with this VST, maybe. Oh, I like it. This VST is really good. I've got the note above this crash cymbal registers a cymbal choke. So you know when drummers hit a cymbal and then they grab it to deaden the sound. That's what this does. So we got, oh, not you, ride cymbal, but if I just leave it like that, they'll ring out. But if we go like that, so now it will sound like this. Yeah, that's much better. I mean, I could even bring that up to... There's that one. So we can switch... Yeah, that works a bit better. So this is getting a little bit of a... Like, the backing tracks for this one are going to get a little bit of a revamp compared to some of the others. Oh, I used to love, like, the Guitar Hero games and stuff. I'm also going to get rid of this count in at the start, because it's not really needed. God, that's a massive colour. Hopefully I haven't deleted anything important. Let's see. So... Oh, no, delete this track of the MIDI drums. And I'd already got the bass guitar recorded for this as well. You need to come down a bit though, mate. We'll mix everything properly once we get everything else recorded. Yeah, Hi Dragster, nice to see you back. We've actually got some functionality this time, which is good. Right. I'm going to turn off all of the guitar MIDI. We want to start playing with the orchestra this time. So we'll start with the low end. We'll start with the cello. So for this, I use a VST called Symphonic Orchestra by East West Quantum Leap. It's a very nice piece of software. Want that one. And I just want to boost some of the other stuff. What I tend to do is I tend to pick a couple of these to layer over each other. It gets a kind of nice... I feel it gets a nice rich sound. The issue turned out to be that the way Cubase works with its MIDI output, it bypasses like the Windows desktop audio. So OBS wasn't picking it up. I'm using the voice meter thing to rewire it digitally so that OBS can pick it up. But unfortunately, that throws the Guitar Pro MIDI completely out of whack, so I can't use that. So it's basically going to be a case of I can stream this stuff, but it's going to be one program or the other. I have to do either Guitar Pro or it's going to be Cubase. So I thought for this one, like seeing as I'm starting out with this track, it's pretty much just Cubase work from here. I've got Guitar Pro open for some reference, and I'm going to be recording some actual guitar stuff for it, so I'll be having this open to just kind of refresh my memory on how to play the tracks. But for now, I'm not actually going to be trying to get it to play anything back. Fingers crossed it should work. I'm hoping so. But let's check to see how this cello sounds. Let's put that on solo. Oh, that's nice. You can hear the comparison between the MIDI viola and the VST cello. There's quite a difference. Then we've got the drums in as well. So what's going on with this bit? I'm going to duplicate this and bring one up an octave. What are we at? We're at E. And I also think I'm going to increase the velocity on all of this, just to have the instruments kind of come through a little bit harder. That ought to do it. Oh, it's always fun doing that. It's especially hilarious when you do it with a brass section. Like, you know, just dragging that velocity line over to get everything to ring through a little bit higher with a little bit more impact when you're doing it with a brass section, like, you know, a trombone track or something like that, and it's just one ginormous brass fart. Oh yeah, I need to copy this over to these little gaps. And I'm hoping that they're all going in the right spot. That is not going in the right spot. You're gonna fuck everything up, mate. Oh, this is in the... Don't want you doing that. Let's go to 8th notes. Right. Yeah, you're all lined up. Good. Stoked to see how this is going to turn out. Well, this was the first cover I ever did, so there is a version of this online, but this might be getting slightly, it's going to be slightly tweaked. I'm not going to be like recording guitars for the whole piece, because I have done. Well, I'm only doing the backing track, so I'm not going to need to record much of the lead guitar stuff. That being said. Right, I think that's the last of it. Although, hang on, that doesn't look right. Those ones down the bottom weren't the right colour. And there needs to be... What are you? You are an A. That'll do it. Why does that sound a bit odd? Is that... E... F, F sharp, G. Yeah, it's a chromatic scale going up. That's a bit strange. But okay. So what happens here is... I'll drag that out a little bit. I now have to export the just the cello track on its own. So we go and select just the cello track. We go and find a folder to load it into. Game theory, audio, and we say game theory, cello. And then that gets rendered out as a WAV file, so that we get the peak quality, and Cubase will only re-import things as WAV files anyway. So saving it to an MP3 would do me no favours. It would compress it, and then it would just get fucked up again. Or it would get compressed further when I eventually render out the finished track. But I can now get rid of that, put it on mute. That track's done. Go to the viola, and we're going to do the exact same thing, just a few octaves higher. So I want... Is it the legato one that I use? I go through these menus so often and I don't remember which instruments I end up using. I think half the time when I go and load these things in, I'm running on autopilot, and I don't really I don't generally sit here and think about it. Okay, that should be fine, but let's... Oh, that's loud. Oh, that's very loud. Ooh. Right, let's have a listen to this then. No, that's right at the... Oh, I wish I knew where my transport panel had gone. Let's turn you down a little bit here, shall we? Just a touch. Maybe not that much, but... That's sounding nice. Right, I'm just going to mute the rest of it while I ramp up the velocity, because it's going to be a bit daft. Oh, perfect horizontal slice. Excellent. And the last one. Not quite so perfect on this one. There we go. So it should be fine for the rest of this now. That last low A seems a bit short. Just drag that out. Okay, we can export that. Do the same again. Change the name to Viola. And ba-boom. We're done there. So this is pretty much just par for the course with what I do for every cover that comes out. Same for pretty much any piece that I work on, because I don't have a drum kit to play, so the drums always go through this routine, and most of the music that I tend to work on has an orchestral element to it, so it tends to get a lot of this sort of treatment as well. But now we get to play with the symphonic choirs, and we get to go from oh, hang on. Let me load that back into the Hallion one. So, oh, you're not coming through now, are you? You want trumpet? MIDI trumpet, glorious. Let's get this to go. Oh, it's the simple things that amuse you. Hello there, Destroyer Tooth. You think this is awesome? This is pretty fucking mundane for me, but I do enjoy it. I think mundane is being a little harsh on it. But. Yeah, we don't want trumpet for that, do we? Right, where's the voice on this thing? Vocal, choir. Ah, choir. Yeah. Right, let's duplicate that track so we can have a reference for once we get all of this stuff done. No, cancel that. We don't want... I'm not trying to run the choir through a drum kit. Right. So this is the same kind of thing as the orchestra VST that I use. This does have a piece of software that is very cool and very interesting. And I've never been able to run it before because my old PC setups didn't have enough RAM. And I'm really wondering if I could try and get it to work with this new system that I'm running. Basically, this has an additional piece of software entitled Word Builder. And essentially what Word Builder does is it allows you to get this VST instrument, this digital choir, to actually sing words. Like, to actually spell out, you can spell out phonetically or via general text. And it will do the best it can. It's kind of like a text-to-speech for a musical thing, and you can obviously play it through a MIDI keyboard, and it will spell out, it will say things out in the way that you play it, essentially. But I've never been able to really get it to work. But okay, that should be set up. I do want to bring that down a little bit, actually, I think. I don't want the choir screaming their lungs out. I mean, they could. That would be cool. But this is what the... Oh, you shush, bass guitar. There Let's just mute all that. So this is the MIDI choir through Cubase. It's nice, kind of ethereal. And then you get the low end one, the bass voice is just kind of like, oh. So how does it sound when we put it through the VST? A little bit better, I think. Praise it! Praise it! So that's how that sounds. That's my choir. Keep it in my back pocket when I'm not using it. Very nice. Thank you, Susan. So we'll render out the choir. And then all that really remains is to record the guitars and mix it all together. But that does unfortunately mean that I'm going to have to turn my microphone off. I'm not going to be able to run the guitar and the microphone at the same time. I'll turn the VST off there, mute that. Bring the drums and everything else back that's needed. And I think from here, I will import the other stuff that we've done so far. Get these three in. Yes. Different tracks. You bugger. Why do you always do that? Right. I really didn't put much orchestration into this one, did I? Compared to the full string and brass sections that I put in my covers these days. I really toned it down a little bit back then. Not anymore. Oh. Right. I'm going to dial all of these down. We'll go about mixing things properly once I get the guitars all recorded. But just so that I get things set up so I can just kind of get it all going and just kind of go from one track to the next. I need to figure out which tracks I need to actually record. Right. You know what? I'm going to say fuck it. I'm going to record the lot. I'm going to go overboard. I'm going to record all 5 tracks. I'm going to record it as I would for doing it as a proper metal cover. And who knows? This could be like the 2018 remix or whatever. the remaster. Okay, so I'm gonna switch the mic off. I've got a little thing here to denote that the microphone is not going to be working. But chat is going to remain open, so I'll give like thumbs up and stuff if, you know, I'm trying to say thanks or whatever. I'm just going to plug my guitar in. I'm going to get to recording this stuff, and hopefully, within say the next half an hour, we might have a finished or something that we can start mixing. So, give me a sec. Let me just unplug things and get going. Is that going to keep... That's going to keep picking up the microphone. Right, let me just... Okay. We now have the slight issue. I'll raise my voice at you. I have to sit down because I moved my fucking chair. I'll be down here, alright? Ooh. Going R2, we need to go up.
Oh, today is just full of fucking technical issues, isn't it? Yeah, Okay, now the issue that I'm having... Like, we've got all the VST stuff done. That's great. All the digital stuff is out of the way. Now that I'm trying to record the guitars through this setup, it's picking up everything that Cubase is outputting on the recorded guitar track. So, I don't know what to do there. Whether that's going to be a case of I need to play around with more settings here on this voice meter program, I don't know. This is all just a bit of a mess as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm glad I managed to output something of this lot, but I don't understand why... I mean, I'm assuming it must be something to do with, like, where my audio input is now coming from, as well as, basically what my device setup is doing. Does my voice sound like there's a bit of helium in the air? I don't know about that, but... That's a bit of a weird one. I don't know. I might have to listen back to that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any more done tonight. I'm glad I came back and tried. I got something done. I got something out of it. This feels like it's going to be a very kind of fiddly process to try and fine-tune. But I'll see what I can do, and hopefully I might be able to come back and do this a little more regularly. For now, I think I'm going to have to wrap things up here, because I don't think I'm going to be able to progress any further. Also, oh, that's the wrong thing to take off. That's what I'm after. Yeah, I might have to wrap things up here, but thank you for coming back and checking things out. I don't know why I'm showing that stuff off, but I was mostly just curious to see how many were here. Yeah, I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to go and chill out for the rest of the night and not really have to worry about this sort of stuff. But thanks again for following, for coming along to see what all the fuss was about. Hopefully next time it'll work a little bit better. So, have a good night, have a good day, wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone you're in, and whatever you happen to be doing with the rest of your day. I'm going to go and find my chair, I'm going to go and make a cup of tea, and I'm going to go and chill out. Thanks again, guys, and I will catch you all very, very soon. This is Captain Meatshield, signing off. From floor level!